I'm going to show you exactly how to hire a real virtual assistant in 2025 without wasting money, time, or energy you'll never get back. I've now hired over 2,000 VAs over 40 different countries. VAs who take ownership, hit KPIs, and think like business partners. In this video, I'm giving you the exact framework I use to find the top 1% talent around the world and how to build a solid system you can use to hire a VA in the next couple days. Let's dive in. All right, guys, let's dive in. So I'm gonna break down the step-by-step that you need in order to find these A players and be able to do this consistently. I'm gonna break them down here on a Google Doc, and then I'm gonna show you examples and just really walk you through what we do and how we've been able to do this at such a high level for so many years now. So step one is you wanna define the outcome, not just the role. Right, so for example, and I'm gonna use this example consistently, is if you're hiring an executive assistant, okay? Do you want this person to be in charge of your emails and responding to emails? Do you want them to just clean out your inbox? Like, what is the outcome of this role outside of what the role is? And what I mean by that, of course, closers is probably the easiest one to reference here, because you expect the outcome for the closers to close deal. You expect the video editors to edit the videos, right? Maybe you want them to also post the videos. Maybe you want them to also report on how they did certain things. Maybe you want them to also script some of your videos. Whatever the case may be, this has to be part of your first process, which is, what is the outcome of this role? Not just the role itself. So again, inbox 0 by 12 p.m., calendar 0 double bookings, and daily stand up by 5 p.m., weekly KPI updated every 2 weeks, right? So this one would be perfect for an executive assistant. So I'll add that in here. Examples for an executive assistant. You can even add more, right? Like if you were to do this for like a video editor. So obviously you want them to edit videos, right? But maybe you want them to also help with scripting or research. We'll do another point here, research ideas. You can also have them post the content, report the statistics once a week. Obviously, we're gonna talk about editing the videos, the outcomes, okay? Very, very important. Tie every deliverables to the business result. If you're doing this right now, think about how much time you're wasting doing this, right? So it'd be really good to tie back in. Don't have these people do work just for them to do work. That doesn't make any sense. You're gonna waste a lot of time doing this. Step two is your non-negotiables. Okay, so this is a big one, especially when you're hiring offshore talent. A lot of people, I hear this all the time. I want to hire someone without an accent. Well, okay, then hire Americans, because when you hire people in LatAm, in Africa, in Asia, they're gonna have an accent almost always. And guess what? Most people don't care. Like, Americans don't buy from people that just because they don't have an accent. It's hard. If you have an accent and I can't understand you, that's a different situation. So there are 3 letters to levels in English. So there's A, B, and C. And then there's A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. C1 in C2 is completely fluent. You're basically completely fluent. C2 is like an American. C1 is like someone that's been learning English for like hardcore for like 3 to 5 years and like seriously learning it. B1 and B2 is where it's acceptable in my opinion, especially if the skills are up there. Like, forget about matching anything. If the skills are up there, A1 and A2 is when it gets tricky, because that's when they're just learning. Usually it's about, they're maybe learning for like 1, maybe 2 years. And I mean, it depends on, someone that's learning in 2 years versus someone else that's learning in 2 years. There could be a massive difference there. But I would say B1 and B2, definitely C1 and C2 are acceptable, right? Another one would be like internet. Every single person that we speak with, when they make a video, introducing themselves, talking about themselves, we get to actually hear them, see them, all that good stuff. They actually share their screen. They go to speedtest.net and they have to literally submit this in their video. If they don't submit this, then we literally can't trust them. Anything under 40 is really unacceptable. 40 is like the bare minimum, because they're gonna have trouble, especially if it's a high-paced job and there's a lot of stuff that they need to be doing on a regular basis. You never want them to have it under 40. That's like a non-negotiable for us. Another thing would be like tools. Maybe you don't want them to learn certain tools. Like, they should be learning they just should know how to use Google and Google Drive and Google Calendar, but maybe they've never used Slack or Asana or ClickUp. Like, are you willing to teach them that? I would suggest, if they're really good at a lot of stuff and they don't have this, maybe consider teaching them. If you don't have any time to teach them this and you expect them to already know this, and maybe you expect them to already build certain things on there, then maybe that's not non-negotiable for you. Obviously, security, right? Like, please have an NDA ready to go, so that way someone is not going to come after you and try to steal everything you have. That can happen, believe it or not. Another thing is realistic pay, right? So like a non-negotiable, maybe you have a budget in place. That could be a non-negotiable. these are things that you need to think out loud. These are things that I would also include in your job description. Okay. Speaking of which, this is a job description that we have here. Ignore the black of my computer, but because my computer darkens everything, gives X-ray vision. But this is our job description. You guys can see how much detail we have in here, from our mission to our vision to the difference between the two brands, to a little bit about myself, a little bit about my business partner. Our core values are here, the role, what this job entitles, compensation, packages, required skills, and then this is the non-negotiables. Okay, so we have a bunch of non-negotiables. Not coachable, have a huge ego, so on and so forth, right? So the idea is with the non-negotiables that you literally can cut a lot of people out. And then lastly is the culture fit. Like, what is your culture? Okay, what type of culture do you actually want? There's an amazing book called Traction that talks about this in one chapter, chapter 3 in Traction. It's one of the best chapters ever because it helps you create a culture. Now, if I read Traction before ChatGPT existed, today you have ChatGPT and you can actually create your culture within ChatGPT. Like, what type of culture do you actually want to have, right? If you document every single thing here and help ChatGPT create a job description for you, it can also tell you what type of culture you want based on what you want the company to be like. Right? Do you want a fast-paced company? Do you want something that's a little more slow and steady? Like, what is it that you're actually looking to achieve out of this? And have ChatGPT actually create this with you. Now, I'll show you guys what I use ChatGPT for outside of this, because I've been able to create a very powerful interviewing tool, which I'll talk to you guys at the end about. So, there's a job description here. I'm gonna drop this in the description, so if you guys wanna see the job description for an appointment setter, that's here. Like I mentioned, appointment setter. The next step is actually finding these people. I'm gonna give you guys 3 platforms where we look to find people all the time. So one of them is LinkedIn. So the way we go on LinkedIn is that at times, we use it to look for specific people. Now, we use Sales Navigator and we have a partnership with LinkedIn where we actually can message a lot of people. It's very, very expensive. I don't recommend this if you're hiring one person. It's literally meant for recruiters. If I'm hiring 1 or 2 people, I don't need to talk to 1,000 people, right? I probably need to talk to a few, maybe 3, 5. I would say no, really 10 is a lot, but 3 to 5 is a sweet spot. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit, no less than 3, no more than 7, I would say. But you can actually look for specific people here. Like, look at all these people that are an executive assistant, virtual assistant here in Bogota, for example, in Colombia. Obviously, you can look outside of just city. There's people in the Philippines and whatever the case is, and you can connect with them and send them a message and tell them a little bit about yourself. Like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm running this business. I'm looking for an executive assistant. I see that you have a lot of the qualifications, right? We do this exact same strategy on Facebook. What would work even better on Facebook is groups. Facebook groups are very popping. There's groups with probably millions of people on there, and there's some people that make a post like this and they get 30 comments. And the same thing, they're only looking for one hire, but they get 30 comments. And all you need is one person. You don't really care where they come from. You don't care if they came from Facebook. You don't give a shit, right? You just care that they're actually a qualified person. So I would do the same exact strategy on Facebook that I would do on LinkedIn. The next one is actually our platform. So we have app.remotelatinos.com. This is a platform that we have invested a lot into, and specifically targeting people here in Latin America. You can create your profile. You have a 2-week free trial, and you can actually find people here. The best part about this is that we not only provide you these people, but you can actually see their video here. You can see their experience. You can see how everything is ready for you here, much more than on LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn, sometimes people are not that active on there. You don't have the video. You have to have them basically apply from the start. Where here we've done a lot of this for you, and all you have to do is just either invite them to a job and then message them, and then hopefully get an interview and see what's up. So we have almost 6,000 applicants on here that have gone through this process of submitting the video, submitting their experience, verifying that they're real, all the process they have to do to get on here. And then we have about a bunch of business owners and people that are looking for specific applicants, now looking for people. Now, this platform is pretty similar in a way. We did this our own way to something that we were inspired by, which is Torre. We've used Torre for many, many years. Torre has amazing talent. Right now it's in Spanish, but you can actually use the English version. So let's go to the English version really quick. Boom. And you can very, very similarly to our platform, where I would say our platform is similar from Torre because we were inspired by them and many others. But this is a really good platform to find Spanish-speaking talent. And they have all different sorts of packages. You can pay them monthly. You can pay the recruiter. I would say it's again similar to us, and you can, again, it's free. So you can come in here and you can actually post a job and see what's up. You just have to sign up and go through their process. So once you made the postings, once you connect with a few people, you don't want to just get on interviews immediately. Okay, you want to actually have them fill out a form. Okay, now I recommend creating form either on Typeform or on Google. Right, you can literally create a Google order form, and so if you come in here, you can actually create a blank form. and you can create all sorts of different ones. There's a job application right here. You can create this. You can actually, I would recommend doing between 10, maybe 20 questions, which is pretty similar to what we have here, which is their basic name. You can actually go, if you go to RemoteLatinos.com, not our marketplace, but our website, you can actually see some of the questions that we ask. We ask a lot more detailed questions because we obviously provide a service and we have a lot of different industries, but you can ask about 10 to 20 questions, have them submit the form, and then in the form, it's very, very important that one of the questions in the form is their video introduction and a way for them to submit their resume. Okay, so they need to submit their resume, upload, whether it's a Google Drive, whatever the case may be, and then a video. And the video is usually about 3 minutes, I would say maybe 2 to 3 minutes of them talking about themselves, why they're a good fit. You can create 5 questions. I always recommend talking about themselves, where they're based in, why they feel like they're a good fit, what makes them excited about our company, what's some of their experience, skill, almost like break down maybe their resume a little bit to me, sell themselves to me. Like you have 3 minutes to elevator pitch me. And what I'm looking for is number 1, their English, number 2, their appearance, number 3 is their tonality, their communication skills, and of course, them being able to sell themselves, right? So the video is a very, very big part of the process, because once they're done with the video, once they're done with the resume, once they're done with the application, and now it's time for the skill test. And before I dive into this, guys, I know this is a lot, and trust me, I'm very well aware. That being said, this is exactly why people partner up with us to help them find A players faster. Instead of going through this entire process, spending all this time, all this energy, and praying that you find the right person, why not just partner up with RemoteLatinos to help you find an executive assistant, a cold caller, a video editor, whatever position you might need, we can help you with. So head over to RemoteLatinos.com, schedule a call with us, and let us help you find someone within the next 1 or 2 weeks. All right, now back to the skill test. So this is an example of a skill test. I actually broke this down into 2 parts. Again, this is for an executive assistant. And this executive assistant, I actually had 2 parts. One is more about tracking, and the other one is more about, so one of them is actually more about organization, and the other one is more about tracking. I wanted someone that could come in and help me with some finances, bookkeeping type of work, and then another one that can help me with organization, my calendar, and things like that. So this is an example of this because it's 2 parts. It probably took the executive assistants about 20, 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer to finish this up, which is what you want, because after the skill test, they're going to submit that to me, and I'm going to review this. So at this point, I've reviewed their application, their video, their resume, their communication with me, right? Now they did the skill test 1, and now I'm going to schedule the first interview. Okay, now this is very important because I will submit everything to ChatGPT. I would submit their answers to ChatGPT. I would submit their answers on their questions, my feedback. I would create a scorecard around this to actually be able to get ChatGPT's honest feedback. And then based on that, I would create a 2-part interview process. Part 1, I'm going to interview them mostly on their skill sets. I'm going to break down the skill tests they did, and I'm also going to interview them on the skills they're going to need here and what skills they'll need in the future. And I'll create these questions with ChatGPT. Okay, it'll give me the entire feedback on everything, and then I'm going to contract that and create questions on the skill. If they pass, and I feel pretty good about them, I'll inform them the next day that I want to do one more interview with them. But before I do, they're going to do a personality test for me. And I can either choose the DISC assessment, I recommend this one, or you can do the free, the 16 personalities. I recommend you taking both of them, and whichever one you like more, you can use. We've liked both of them. Honestly, this is not a big part of our process, but it does help to learn a little bit more about this person. Because once they're finished with this, then I'm going to take their results, I will submit again to ChatGPT, and I'll create a skill test about more personable questions, more cultural fit questions, and overall make sure that this person's actually a good fit. Now here's the best part. You can do personality test, interview 1, skill test, interview 2, or you can do skill test, interview 1, personality test, interview 2. Whatever it is, I recommend having 2 interviews every single time with every applicant because you're going to learn a lot more about this person, right? And each interview is about 30, 45 minutes, más o menos, more or less. And then after that, you should be feeling pretty good. If you do this with 3 people, first of all, let me just take it back. Most people are not going to go through this process. They are not going to submit the application. They're going to submit it wrong. They're not going to submit a video. They're going to submit the video wrong. The video is not good. You're just going to disqualify so many people. If you were able to do this with 3 people that go through this entire process, step by step by step, you're guaranteed to find the right fit. You're guaranteed. Plus, they're gonna respect you because they're gonna be like, "Holy shit! The fact that this person is making me go through all these hoops, he's really protective over himself." It's almost like you're getting married because it is. When you get married, I'm assuming most sane people get married after dating for a couple years, maybe at least a year, living together, spending a lot of time with this person, and really finding out about them. You're not gonna marry someone after 1 or 2 dates. And imagine here, we're basically marrying someone. They're coming into our business. They're coming to our livelihood. They're coming to something that we're building, something that we care so much about. Why would we not overly qualify them? Okay, so if you do this with 3 people, you're bound to find the right person. Because once you do, then you're gonna do an onboarding with them, which I'm gonna make another video about very, very soon. So guys, if you found value in this video, you're going to absolutely love the video I made about the biggest mistakes founders make. So I actually linked that video. If you have a chance to check that out, go ahead and do that, because you're gonna learn what you need to avoid as a business owner and how to hire like a multi 7 and 8 figure business. Thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.